it's a unique dynamic, obviously, between you and your brother.
It's good and bad. We'll fight at least 2 or 3 times every video shoot.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, here they go.
Yeah. Does that happen a lot in a professional environment, and you've had to learn how to sort of control it a bit?
It happened, one bad one happened at the Much Music Video Awards years ago. Just kind of built up. We took off, went to the hotel, didn't do sound check. And they're all like, well, we got the award show tomorrow. Like, is he doing it? I'm like, don't worry, he'll be fine. Just
Luke Hanson McDonald here. Welcome back to Beyond the Family Business. Today we have part 2 of our 2-part interview with multi-platinum hip-hop star Classified. In this episode, we're going to delve into the little-known fact that Classified actually runs a family business. For over 20 years, he's been collaborating with his father and his 2 brothers, most notably with his brother Mike, aka Mike Boyd. They've made innumerable rap songs together. They've toured the world together. They've even made award-winning music videos together. Classified really gets into the unique benefits of collaborating with his brother, as well as the often frustrating challenges, and he finishes with a bombshell that this may be his last album that he ever makes. I don't know how many people would realize it. I mean, I guess they would know certainly Mike, as your brother, but you also work with your other brother,
Jake. Yeah. He played guitar in my band for years. Still plays gigs here once in a while.
And even your dad had been in like some music videos.
Oh, Dad's been every record I put out, Dad's played at least a guitar or something on it. Keys.
Yeah. Has that always been the case? That you guys have always collaborated?
Always. Yeah.
That's
cool.
Like
we came up, we were a hockey family. We all played hockey together. So, Dad was always into music. My youngest brother plays guitar really well as well. But even when I was coming up, anytime I started making beats, when I was learning and kind of got out of the sampling, was like, well, I want a live guitar or live bass or keys, I'd just call my dad. He lived 2 minutes away, retired. So it was like 2 in the afternoon. I need a guitar. Cool, I'll be there in a sec.
That's awesome.
So having that freedom was so great. I remember Jordan's album when we were working on that, and David Miles. Dad was over there every second day just playing something on something. And he loves it too. Like, he loves being in the studio, hanging with the guys, creating. Like, he came up as a musician and never really got to experience that side of, like, being in a studio and making records and finishing and putting them out. And so he has a lot of fun with it too.
Yeah, cool. And you still collaborate with your family today?
Oh, yeah.
It hasn't slowed down?
Yeah. Me and Mike and we just found out yesterday, no one even told us, but we won the Directors of the Year at the ECMAs on the weekend.
Oh, really?
Brothers Boyd. So, like, that's me and my brother when we direct mostly my videos. We do them all together, me and him. And so, always working together.
And I think you said this earlier, but you got into rap first, and then sort of Mike got into it, or?
Yeah, dragged him into it. Yeah. Dragged the younger brother. And then even my youngest brother, Jake, at the time, we made him do it a little bit too, but he was a little more shy, so it was more me and Mike. But then eventually Jake joined my band when I started touring, and when I added a guitar player to the band, it just made sense to bring my brother into it.
Yeah, 100%. And so Mike also now is a videographer.
Yeah.
Like, he's also directing and making music videos and stuff like that, right? When did that happen?
We would mess around a little bit, like in the middle of 2015, maybe a little earlier than that. We just shoot little low budget things, and they didn't look great, but we just would come up with cool concepts that you could get away with it looking like garbage because there was something to it. I think around 2018 is when he got his first real camera, and then we were like, whoa, this actually looks good now.
Yeah.
That kind of changed everything, because it was, we used to spend $10,000 on a music video back in the day. You need a big set, you need this, you need all these things. Now it's just, you get a stabilizer, a camera, and a good idea, and you can make something actually look pretty good. So, but 2018-19, he started taking the film thing really, really serious.
Yeah. Well, and to your point about, the earlier videos may not have looked that professional. Ironically, that's actually the trend now of social media.
Well, people are sick. Not that they're sick, but it's just like we've seen the perfectly lit music video,
100%.
And the artist looks cool.
Yeah.
Kind of over it. It's like, give me something else now. And and I think it's why the TikTok things, people appreciate these low budget. It just looks like Joe Blow picked up their camera.
Yeah.
Like, even my social media team, that's what one of our meetings was, like, hey, we need to start shooting some low budget.
Yeah.
Just turn your camera on, make sure they know you're recording it.
Oh, yeah.
And do the performance. They want it to look amateur because people are reacting more to stuff like that. It just feels more natural.
I've even seen a thing where somebody was filming with a professional, like a Red camera or something, but they wanted it to look like they were using their hand to record it.
So
they're
put their hand up there.
So
yeah.
they're holding their
100%.
hand up. It's hilarious.
I did the same shit 3 days ago. I didn't have a Red cam, but I had a real camera. But they're like, "Yo, just put your hand up there," and I was like, "All right."
That's hilarious. I think it comes back to authenticity. Is that like that is why people also are gravitating towards it? Is like, back to that idea of like, you having an authentic voice, or why AI. I don't think in the end will remove artists or something. It all comes down to that authenticity. Mm-hmm. And if you are making, videos that look authentic versus like perfectly polished from the factory videos, I think that also resonates with somebody.
Totally does. Like I find every time we plan a video out, mainly for TikTok, because we know that's kind of how it is, but we'll make a plan, we'll shoot it. I didn't do nothing. Then I'm out at my daughter's playing volleyball and bouncing the ball off a wall at the bottom of the stairs practicing her serve.
Yeah.
It's like my most watched video on TikTok.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything. It's just, that's a cool thing. The girl wanted to learn how to serve. This is in the middle of COVID.
Yeah.
And you can't serve in a house, but she would stand at the bottom of the stairs. I put a board at the top. She'd jump up, serve it, and come back. And people are like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It looks like crab. I shot it like crab.
Yeah.
But it's just, people seem to, that just things that aren't planned out.
Yeah.
Things that are just, that just happened. So they videotaped him.
Yeah, no, for sure. Absolutely. It can be kind of frustrating, too, if you spend too much time on something. And you're like,
frustrating.
Nobody liked the incredibly well-produced video.
Well, just to, like, for an example, I can show you right now on TikTok, the new video we did for Amnesia, the semi-pro video.
Yeah.
I spent $5,000 on that video. That video has, like, 1,000 views on TikTok.
Yeah.
But then I went and shot, like, a performance of me sitting in the car that took me 5 minutes, cost me nothing, and it has 7,000 views.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the? So I just... it's a different thing, but I also don't know if TikTok is real life yet.
I know. That's true.
Because I know artists that have millions of views on that, and they go try to do a show, and they got 20 people at their show. And it's like, it's hard to focus too much on that because I don't know if it actually equals success or anything real.
Sorry to interrupt there, Classified. So I just wanted to remind you, if you could please like and subscribe, it makes a huge difference to my channel and ensures you get to see all of the new content that comes out. Thanks. But back to Mike. So you've worked with him, both in the music realm as well as in the video production realm. You guys have collaborated on videos together, like you directing with him, etc.
Yeah, rapping him on tour. He toured with me for 15 years, so.
Yeah, so everything. And I know from, I've worked with my brother for much of my life. We had our film business together, et cetera. We still work together now. And it's a unique dynamic, obviously, between you and your brother.
It's good and bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you find that it's easier to collaborate with your brother than it is with other people? Is it different?
I always found it easier just because it's just so honest. Mm-hmm. Mike, this shot sucks. Do something different. Like, I would never say that to somebody else.
Yeah.
But I can say that to Mike, and Mike can be videotaping me like, Luke, you look stupid. Your ears tucked under your hat. You know what I mean? Just something that most directors would be like, I don't know if I should really say this, where Mike will say it. And I like being so open and comfortable that we can do it. But we'll fight at least 2 or 3 times every video shoot.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, here they go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Mike, fuck that. Come on, man. Like, so, there's the good and the bad. It's good to have that honesty, but sometimes the honesty can be a little bit too much. And just even to motivate of, like, if I'm working with the director, I'm like, hey, I need a treatment by tomorrow night. They'll have the treatment.
Yeah.
Mike will email me 2 days later, go, hey, I'm almost done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I had a deadline. So, there's pluses and minuses.
Yeah, 100%. One of the things I noticed when, collaborating with my brother back when we were in the film world was we had watched a lot of the same stuff growing up. So there was a lot of, like,
which is great
because then I would say, like, oh, but I want to do it like this movie, this scene, and he'd be like, yeah, absolutely, I know exactly what you mean.
Well, and just having similar tastes.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going with someone that has different tastes than you, you'll never find that middle ground. But, like, you and your brother, you came up together, you grew up on the same shows, you like the same stuff. And that's why I feel like with Mike, it's the same thing. It's like when we're both like, oh, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't care what the rest of the world thinks. Me and Mike think this is dope.
Yeah.
But we're done. We're good.
Yeah, 100%. How about working with your other brother? Are you guys as practiced in collaborating, or is it
different? Jake was a little younger. Jake, again, same thing. Like, he played guitar on Amnesia. He came over, did some guitar on that. It's just more quiet, less opinionated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is great sometimes because
Yeah.
it's just like, hey, Jake, can you do this? And he's happy to do it, do it.
Yeah.
But I don't really look at Jake as going like, Jake, what do you think of this?
Yeah.
Like, do you like this? Because he never grew up on hip hop the same as me and Mike. He listened
Sure.
to a lot different music and stuff. So it's just not coming from the same spot that I can find that middle ground with Mike.
Yeah.
But Jake's way easier to work with.
Yeah.
Way easier.
Awesome. And then how about with your dad? You know,
Yeah.
how's the when he would play on, you know, if you needed him to play guitar or whatever
yeah.
else?
Almost very similar to Jake.
Yeah.
Because not as opinionated, doesn't come from the same music as me and Mike. But anytime it's like, hey, can you try to play this?
Yeah.
And came up on the Beatles and Led Zeppelin. You know, so
Yeah.
comes from a different musical thing. So anytime I get Dad to the studio, I'm like, guitar. He's like, well, how about a Hammond B3 organ? Like,
Yeah.
He just loves the Hammond B3 organ and wants to put it on every song. But that's what he knew in music in the 70s. It was
Yeah.
like every cool song had that instrument.
Yeah.
So it just comes from a different spot. But yeah, he's similar to Jake, where it's just like, can you try this? He does it and doesn't really have any
Right.
opinion on it, I guess.
Yeah. Cool. Very interesting.
Mm.
So you mentioned you and Mike do sometimes get into fights.
Oh, yeah.
Does that happen a lot in a professional environment, and you've had to learn how to sort of control it a bit?
happened one bad one happened at the Much Music Video Awards years ago. We were performing on the show, and we had an idea. It was for anybody listening. We had an idea where Sony got everybody headphones in the crowd or something. I can't remember it exactly, but Mike's like, I'm not wearing the fucking headphones. This is stupid. Like, he hated the idea. I'm like, man, we just spent a ton of money. Sony put all this at... And we went back to get, I had my publicist and someone else from Sony there, and we're sitting there, and he just kind of built up, and just like, fuck. We took off, went to the hotel, didn't do sound check, and they're all like, well, we got the award show tomorrow. Like, is he doing it? And I'm like, don't worry, he'll be fine. Just let him do his thing. So we had a couple moments like that. But
Did he wear the headphones?
No. Nope, he didn't wear them.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. But, everybody who works with family knows that that's just part of it, right?
Oh,
Because
yeah.
you have those stories. But you have managed to work with your brother for how long now? 20 years?
20 years, yeah.
Yeah.
At
So,
least.
which is an incredible amount of time, because there are so many people that work together as family and then they don't last that long, because it is a unique dynamic to balance. What advice would you have, not necessarily even in music, but just to people that work with their family? What advice would you have of how you've been able to keep that even keel and that longevity, in your relationship?
I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't know what advice I would give. I guess I'm in a unique position because I feel like I run the show. So if I don't like it, I'd be like, well, no.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I kind of have that ability if something really doesn't resonate with me, if they're upsetting me, if they're like, I just walk away. Like, I'm good. I can do this on my own. But it is family. I patience, working with your family, and I guess appreciate them for their quirks.
Yeah.
And realize why they have them. Like, I know why Mike acts the way he does sometimes because, the way he's always been his whole life. So I know that he's just, if he strongly feels something about it, he's not going to just bend over to make you feel good about it.
Yeah.
And I get that.
Which maybe
And
that truthful feedback is
that's
super
to me
valuable.
why half my career is what it is because Mike was always there. I'd make something like, no, man, you wrote a song like this 100 times. Why are you doing this again? And I'd be pissed for that day. Be like, man, I just worked on this.
Yeah.
And then I'd scrap it and start again the next day. And then he'd come in and go, oh, yeah, like, never heard you rap about this. This is great. And when I see Mike get excited, that just makes me go, I'm good.
Yeah.
I made something that's – so to have that honesty is, a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
But as long as you can realize why they react or act a certain way, which I think we all kind of know how our family members are, and we know their quirks and their weaknesses, and you got to accept them for what it is and try to understand why they feel the way they feel, and hopefully they can do the same for you.
If he was here right now, what do you think he would say about your quirks as far as working together?
He would just say, I rush everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's mostly on the film thing. Like, he'll be sitting there trying to focus, and I'm like, man, we're losing sunlight. Like, let's go. And that's the biggest thing with me and Mike planning videos is, like, you're always rushing me. I'm like, well, because we won't get it done.
Yeah.
And, Mike's the type of person that would almost look for an excuse of why we can't finish it.
Yeah.
Like, well, we can't do it. Like when we shot the All About You acoustic video, the sun was going down. we were in the middle of this field in the middle of nowhere, and the light we had for the camera wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But we had 2 4-wheelers there. I was like, turn the 4-wheelers on, run the lights, put them on the artist, let's shoot it.
Yeah.
He's like, this is so stupid. We can't use the foot, like just. And I'm like, we're losing the sun. Shoot the thing. We shot it, worked out great. You wouldn't even tell that it was. Actually looked like a really good scene.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between Mike is he'll sometimes look for that excuse of why it won't work. Because he wants it to be perfect.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it because he's a perfectionist, right?
Totally is a perfectionist. But sometimes you can't have perfection, and you work with what you got to work with, and you make it work, and hopefully turn it into perfection. And so I think that's the biggest thing is Mike would just say, he's always rushing me.
Yeah.
Always rushing me. I'm trying to take my time.
Yeah, I think my brother and I have a similar thing where he's very meticulous about certain things and really takes his time, especially with like art and stuff like that. Yeah. Very meticulous. But then I'm very much so that like, whatever, I'll just start going. And then, you know, I might be going the wrong direction, but then I'll figure it out and I'll turn around.
100%. But that's why I have 22 albums and Mike put out 2.
Yeah.
You know, and his 2 albums are awesome albums, but he just wants everything to be, well, no, I'm not ready for that. I'll see you in a month.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm like, no, I'm back tomorrow. I'm working. Let's go. So.
Yeah. Yeah, and to clarify, my brother is a much better artist than I am, actually.
Same with me. I think but you know what I mean? Like, I would put Mike ahead of me as a rapper, obviously a video director, editor, all that. Like, Mike is super talented, but I think that's one of those quirks that comes with being super talented is you have that dote that's like, I don't know if I want to finish this. It might not come out good. Like, which is, I think, is a little bit of a fear too of like, I don't want to put out something that I don't, I just don't know if people will like, you know what I mean? I know a lot of artists that like that, super talented artists, and they'll never put anything out because they're just scared that people are going to look at it the wrong way. Yeah,
100%. It's, again, finding that balance, and perhaps that's the balance, as you said, that made you successful, is having another person to represent that other perspective.
Just to give you another opinion. Or another,
Yeah, and balance yourself out. So moving on to, other aspects of family, you now have 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
How has that changed you? Like, when I first met you, I think your wife, Kim, was pregnant with your first daughter.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it was your second, but it was very early days. And like, I assume I've gone through this transition more recently, and, my free time is gone.
Mm-hmm.
I've suddenly realized how masterful I have to become at like, if
time
there's
management.
A pocket in the morning, I am using that.
I usually got my day planned before it even starts. Like, I'll wake up and go, I know I'm doing this, 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 and this.
Yeah.
Like, I knew this was today. I know what's after this. I know what's this evening.
Yeah.
Like, kind of planned out ahead.
And what I find is interesting is when we met, you were definitely very well known and very successful, but I think your even bigger achievements were probably like Inner Ninja was after you had kids too, right?
Yeah.
So like,
all my biggest hits were after children.
Yeah. So how do you think kids affected you, music wise? Did it, did it make you more professional, or did it change anything about?
Like, people always say that, like, it never changed my Well, it gave me different things to write about, but it wasn't like I was rapping about bitches and hoes and was like, well, I got girls now, I should probably stop that. You know what I mean? Like, I never rap like that anyway. Just change your purpose, your perspective. Like you said, you focus on different things.
Yeah.
But again, it wasn't like I had a kid and was like, oh, everything's changing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you hear some stories, and that's kind of what I expected, and it wasn't like that. It was just like, okay, well, I gotta get up in the middle of the night now, but she's gonna go to the babysitter, or she's home with her mom, and I'm still gonna go to the studio and do some stuff for a couple hours, and then we'll take the kid for a walk. And so it didn't feel like a big game changer. It just changes your perspective. Didn't make me want to travel as much. I think that was the biggest thing. It was like, back in the day, here's $500, come to so and so and do a show. Let's go.
Yeah.
Now it's like, unless it's good money and I'm not flying across the country for something.
Yeah.
Even just, I had a couple shows coming up in the next couple weeks that we ended up postponing because my daughter's got a tournament I don't want to miss.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
awesome.
you know what I mean? Like, I love watching my kids play sports. That's something I never knew would be such a joy in life.
Yeah.
Like, no one just told me that watching your kids play sports, especially if they're good at it, how fun that is. So I don't try to miss anything. And I think that's just time management changed a little bit. Wanting to be home more, which my studio's at home, so I was lucky that way.
Yeah, 100%. No, same with me. I was lucky where I had my first daughter during COVID, so I wasn't really I went from traveling 100,000 miles a year by airplane to nothing. And, obviously it started, opening up and you could travel again. But I had a period where my daughter was born in the middle of lockdown. And it sort of made me stay home for a while and suddenly realize oh, wait, I got to be happy with myself and with being here.
Oh, yeah.
My home is what really matters.
It's that balance.
Not constantly, going somewhere new and whatever else. And so it's been subtle for sure. It wasn't instant, but it definitely, if I look back at it, it was huge.
So if you weren't in COVID, you would have been traveling just as much.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and then,
that's a blessing, man. Because you'll we were talking about this before we started. You'll never see your daughter 1 year old again.
No,
ever.
No,
and that hits me because I'm
yeah.
My youngest is 10 now, so I don't have any of that younger age now, and it's and it is such a cliche. Everyone says it goes by so fast, blah blah blah, but it really does.
Oh, big time.
And to miss those moments is a pretty shitty thing. So you're lucky that it kind of worked out that way, and you got to be home and experience. And obviously it was a headache.
Yeah.
And those things of what the hell are we doing? But then when they get older, you look back and go, I kind of miss some of that stuff.
Yeah. No, 100%. Well, luckily I have a 4-month-old, so I'm
going through it again. Yeah, I had 3 of them, so I kept. So my youngest, I'm holding on to everything because I'm this is it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we still go 4-wheeling. I'm doing movies at night. Let her sleep in the bed, and we're watching movies and just trying to live it as long as I can.
Good for you. Do your kids listen to hip hop?
My oldest daughter just texted me on the way here and said, "Dad, we got to go to that new festival, the one that they did last year. It's called the Magnetic World concert they did on Citadel Hill."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So Don Tolliver's playing it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's pretty big name.
I think it just got announced this morning, but she's like, "Hey, I want to go to Don Tolliver." I'm like,
That's
"You don't know who Don Tolliver is?" She's like, "Yes, I do." So she knows some of the new school, even though he's not that new school. I've known him for a while. So she's into some of that stuff and yeah.
Is that
SZA,
weird?
SZA, we actually flew to SZA for her birthday. I took her up to the concert, and they canceled an hour before the show.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah, we're sitting at the restaurant beside the Scotiabank Center, and then the whole restaurant just starts crying because it's all people going to the concert and all these young girls. And
savage.
So, but yeah, no, they like their different music, but I think they're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
The middle's Taylor Swift forever.
Oh, yeah. My older daughter now even she's obsessed with Taylor Swift.
The whole world is.
That's crazy.
The whole world.
I sometimes accuse my wife of training her to because my wife loves it too, and I'm like, can we just play music we both like? But
yeah, it's kind of the mixed thing because if my kids get in the car and playing Rock the Bells, and I'm like, here's your old school hip hop, and they can't stand it, I'm like, I don't care, you're listening.
Yeah, absolutely. As your daughters got older, do you remember a moment where they suddenly realized wait a second, my dad isn't just a normal dad, or he doesn't have a normal job that everyone else does?
Not a big moment, just little things that happen, going out, the first time they see me sign an autograph or someone come up and they're just like, "Dad, why does that person want?" And I'm like, "Well, they like my music." Just explain it. My youngest is a little bit more, she's the artist in the family to me. She's the creative one or whatever. But I remember being out and a group of people came out class, blah, blah, blah. And she just kind of doesn't care about me most of the time. This time she cuddles right in through the group "Hi, Dad, what's going on?" I'm like, "What are you?" Okay, now you like me.
Yeah.
So they've been to the concerts. They came to the Scotiabank when we did the Supernova show.
Yeah.
I could tell they thought that was really cool. My oldest was like, "Dad, as soon as you went on stage, everybody stood up."
Yeah.
I was like, "That's what I do, hon."
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's cool. Moments like that, I'll always remember that because I'm like, "Oh, that's cool." She never really showed that much interest or,
Sure. You're like, next time I tell you to eat your vegetables.
Yeah. Do it.
Yeah, exactly. And is music something that, do you care if your kids get into music? Do you want them to get into music?
I try.
Yeah.
I try. My 2 oldest don't want anything. They would always come to the studio when they were younger. I got songs they recorded. They'd just be me playing the piano and them and their cousins, and they'd just sing and I'd record it. I think my youngest might eventually.
Yeah.
She's the creative one. She's the one that's always just a little off to the left a little, which I like. It's just a little different. But yeah, I can't see my oldest or my middle doing it. They're more sports and hang with their friends. You never know though. I never got into it until I was 15, 16, so.
Yeah.
Really got into it, I guess.
Yeah. Is it something you'd hope that you could eventually collaborate with your
Love
younger
to.
daughter? Yeah.
Love to. Like that's my hobby. So if I
Yeah.
could do a hobby that my kids would like to do too,
Yeah.
to me that'd be the ultimate thing. So my youngest is the one I'm going to be pushing, turn her into an artist.
Yeah.
Like, get out here, come on.
Yeah, exactly.
But only if she likes doing it, So
Yeah.
we'll see what she wants to do.
Yeah, for sure. So you obviously have an incredible home life, which is another thing I've really respected about you since I've known you. It's not very common that a person is as successful as you are. I shouldn't say it's not common. It's from an outside looking in, it doesn't seem to be
It's
common.
unique. Yeah.
It's unique
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you are, you're living like a very normal life in Enfield and then, have this wonderful family, but are selling out shows and still are, a huge artist and going on tour. How have you found that balance? How have you been able to do this for so long?
I think it's because I don't tour like a regular artist. And maybe I never needed to because I did always own my masters. I produced, I ran my studio. That it kind of gave me a little bit more freedom. Like I'll only usually go on tour maybe 5 weeks every 2 years, 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Just Canada. We used to tour other places, but it was just like I'm not building up over there. I was comfortable within Canada and everything was, a little bit more legit for me. But so, people are always like, man, how do you do this touring thing and see your, you must miss your kids. It's like, I see my kids probably more than anybody I know.
Yeah.
Like I work from home in my studio. My youngest gets off at 2:00. I'm down at the bus stop, get her. And I see my kids all day. Like,
Yeah.
and it's always been that way that I've tried to keep my job. Like I'll wake up, go to the studio at 10 o'clock, do my thing all day, see the kids, stay with her till about 5. Like I treat it like a job.
Yeah.
But it's right beside the house. So it's like,
Yeah.
come in, go have supper with the kids. Maybe I'll run back out the studio, do something if I get an idea. But it's pretty much treat it like a job. Go in the house, you're with the kids, go play ball with them, do everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think I see my kids more than probably just a guy who works a 9 to 5 in Halifax.
Did you have a moment where you realized like, shit, I need to start changing how I'm booking my tours and I need to, reshuffle my priorities so I can get more time at home?
No, it wasn't like it was just like when opportunities came, like, no, I'm good. I don't want that one. But
Yeah.
it was never like, okay, that's it. I got to switch things up. Like I'd usually only do a major tour for every album, maybe another small one a year later or whatever. But it'd usually be one major tour and then festivals in the summer.
Yeah.
So we'll do the 5-6 weeks and then summer we do about 8 or 9 shows. And that's for a festival. You just fly out for a day or two.
Yeah.
Go with the boy. It's the best. Festivals is the best because the money's the best.
Yeah.
It's usually sunny outdoors,
Yeah.
and it's not like night 42 of tour. It's
Yeah.
night 1, go home,
Yeah.
you're good. So,
Yeah.
yeah, festival in the summertime, always do that. And then, I do my tour once every 2 years. So
Sure.
it's not too bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No kidding. Do you think any of that has become easier now that, there is so much more social media presence? You can do a lot more, like the Connor pricing we were talking about. You can do more from home.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't have to leave my house for
Yeah.
anything now. Like, it's crazy how much you can do from home that it gives you that freedom to, like even 10 years ago, I'd be like, you're going to move to Toronto, you're going to do New York, whatever. Now, nobody asks that just because you can be anywhere in the world. Everyone is so connected from the internet. I live right beside the airport, so if I got to go somewhere, it's a quick flight. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I the freedom to be able to do, just because that's how I always operated. It always started with just making my music by myself in my house, but now I can make my content, I can shoot videos. You can do so much just from your phone and your home and a computer.
Did you ever live anywhere else, or did you always live in Nova Scotia?
No, always Nova Scotia.
Was there a lot of pressure on you at any point to be like,
Not a
relocate
lot,
to
but
Toronto
a couple
or New York
people.
or
Like
something?
a couple times it's been like, hey, we got to get, doing this. But I was always like, why? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not moving. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care that I always say it was never get rich or die trying for me. It wasn't ever like,
Yeah.
sorry, family, friends, everybody I've known for my whole life, I'm leaving to go chase this dream. It was never crossed my mind. And I think it's just because I kept making enough small, gradual growth that it was like, no, I'm still moving.
Yeah.
I'm moving forward. It wasn't like I was taking these big leaps, but I was still always moving forward. And, the money came in a little bit more. The success just
Yeah.
eventually kept growing, that it never felt like I had to move. I think I'd just be one of a million if I moved to any other place.
Yeah, yeah.
The fact I come from, like, I remember the first time I went to Toronto, not the first, but one of the first trips, and I met Maestro and Red One. And they're like, oh, you're the dude with the Maritime song.
Yeah.
Bro, we love that shit. I'm like, you like the Maritime? Like, I didn't think you guys would be liking that. But they just love that I had my own identity.
Yeah.
They're like, you're that guy from the Maritimes. If I was in Toronto, I'd be one of thousands, you know? So being from here, staying here, keeping those family roots and those small town roots is, to me, what makes my music identifiable.
Yeah, it goes back to authenticity, right?
Yeah.
Is that it's like, ironically, even though you didn't have that record deal initially, or you weren't that, you know, stereotypical rapper initially, all those differences worked into be your unique strength.
That's what gave me my
you
lane.
You have control over everything. You have your own voice. You know, it's very unique, etc.
Yeah.
It's strange how that.
But like when I was 19, if someone said, "Here's a record deal, go rap about this," I'm in.
Yeah.
Let's go. You know what I mean? I was dying for that opportunity.
Yeah.
And it never happened. And that's one of those things in life. Like, you think you want something, you think you need it, and you don't. And when you don't get it, it actually worked out way better long term.
Yeah.
You'll never know when those moments happen until they happen and it's over. And you're like, oh,
yeah,
that did work out. But, you know, the universe works that way in a lot of ways. And I think that's why people who face disappointment with big decisions should not try to take it so hard. Like, I know some people go through things, that's it, life's over.
Yeah.
And it's like, give it 5 years, give it 2 years.
Yeah.
Give it 5 months,
Yeah.
and you will feel completely different.
I find kids have really changed my perspective on that, where I used to have so much of my like personal worth attached to like how business was going. And now it's like, well, what really matters, do my kids love me? Do my friends still care about me?
Yeah,
you know, is everyone that I love healthy, etc.
Exactly.
And am I still doing what I like? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
as long as I'm still doing it,
Yeah, yeah.
like, who cares?
No, I go through that things once in a while. You know, you find disappointment in the business side, but then you go in the house and you're like, who cares about any of that stuff?
Yeah.
Like, we're all healthy, we're comfortable, kids are smiling.
Yeah.
Can't really ask for more.
No, absolutely. So, coming into the last couple of questions. First, you do have a new album out. Can you tell us about the name? Why did you choose
Luke's
it?
View?
Yeah.
Just my opinions.
Yeah.
My thoughts. I just think the world right now is so divided with their thoughts and their opinions, and nobody wants to hear anybody else's. They're just, you know, just even going into like political views of like, if you have a conversation with someone that doesn't have the same view as you, and you try to explain something, people are trying to shoot down your information that you're giving them before you even take it in. So like, it's just, these are my opinions, my thoughts, whether it's personal, political, whatever. And could they change? Definitely.
Yeah.
Have a conversation with me. Tell me something I don't know. And my view might change on certain things. And I just think that's something we need more in the world of people to let their guard down. Yeah. It's okay if they disagree with you. Yeah. Use their information to make yourself smarter on a situation. And there's a lot of things on this album I know people won't agree with. Some things be like, oh, what, he thinks this and that. It's like, yeah, I do. And if you want to change my mind, I'm open for a conversation.
For sure. I noticed the reels you've been doing for a long time have the hashtag Luke's View on them, right?
Yeah.
Was that always planned to play into this?
No.
Okay.
Somebody I was doing it for months, and then somebody said, that should be your album name. And I was like, oof.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I was like, whoa, this was such a good long-term marketing plan.
Show. No. I've always wanted it, and I feel like this will be one of my last albums. Like, I wasn't planning to make an album. I was just making songs, and it turned in, and I was like, okay. But it was a different process without Mike there. Like, there was a lot of lonely times in the studio, kind of just beating your head out the wall, going, is this, or that? So I've always wanted to call an album just Luke Boyd, like my real name. Yeah. And then with this one and with the Luke's View, when someone said that, I was like, well, close enough.
Yeah. Go with that. Really? It might be one of your last albums.
Yeah. I don't think I'll ever make an album again. And I know I've said that before, but this process was way different than any other album. It was just that community I've always had of like people coming to the studio, showing beats. Yeah. Like, that excitement isn't there as much anymore. Yeah. You know, with Mike doing his own regular job, a couple friends moved away during COVID. So I really felt like I'm in the studio just trying to make myself happy. Yeah. Which is good. Yeah. But it always felt great when you make something and the boys come over after work, smoke a joint, like, check this out. And, oh my gosh, man, what about that wasn't there this album. Yeah. Like, so to not have that excitement, it just felt like a lot of, I don't know if it was stress is the right word, but questioning. Yeah. A lot of questioning that I was like, I don't want to do this again. Right. Always going to make music, always going to produce stuff, always going to bump out a song here and there. I just don't know if I'll sit there and be like, yeah, let's do this whole 2-3 year process of making an album, another year pushing it. Because it's a lot of energy. Like I said, the last 7 months has been the busiest 7 months I've probably
Yeah.
spent on music just because I'm like invested now of like, okay, the music's done. I want people to hear this.
Yeah.
And I do think it pulled away from my kids a little bit. Sometimes I was like, I'd rather be out there doing that, but I want to get this done. So I don't know if I'll put myself through that again.
Well, speaking on behalf of being, I've certainly been a fan of yours for, again, 20 years or whatever it's been now. I hope you keep making music.
I'll keep making music.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I'll make albums.
Good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
That's an important distinction.
Yeah. No, I got to have music. That's my output. When, something's bugging me, I can write a song. And it's my journal.
Yeah, 100%. Last question.
Mm-hmm.
If you could collaborate with any artist, dead or alive, who would it be?
There's a million. Like, if I could just pick one, I'd stay on the rap thing. If it was anybody I never worked with yet, it would have been Snoop, but I got to do that. Snoop was always my number one. Probably Dre and Eminem.
Yeah.
There's smaller one like Redman. Always wanted to work with Redman. DJ Premier I got to work with. Like Premier and Snoop were my my producer and my rapper, and I got to work with both of them. So I got lucky, but Bob Marley, Paul McCartney. Like I liked lots of different music. So Michael Bublé, Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay,
like
so
there's a lot
everybody.
Yeah. But that's what I mean. That goes down to my love of music. Like I just would be really excited to get in a room with so and so and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Might be the worst experience of my life. I might get in there with Dre and Eminem and be like, I hate music now. I don't ever want to do this again. But But yeah, as a producer and rapper, I almost got different choices I want to pick from.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for the
good,
time,
bud.
man. This has been great catching up.
Yeah, man. It's been too long.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching. This is Beyond the Family Business. I'm Luke Hanson McDonald, and please like and subscribe. It makes a huge difference to my channel. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.